Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've seen my short, which I posted just less than a week ago, we got our Canadian passport finally in the mail. And today's video is all about how to apply for Canadian citizenship. So I'm going to be showing you a step-by-step tutorial in how to apply the Canadian citizenship online. So if you guys are looking to fill your forms out, follow along and I can show you all the details. Okay, you first type www.canada.ca and then this page will come up and then you press English and it will take you to this page, Immigration and Citizenship, and you'll see a lot of things, but you click on Citizenship. Steps to become a Canadian citizen, apply for citizenship, and then they ask you to find out if you're eligible. So you have to find out if you have stayed 1,095 days, that is 3 out of the last 5 years, and these are the requirements: permanent resident, fill their taxes, pass a citizenship test in languages in English or French. So once you find out that you're eligible, you type over here, you give your dates. If you have not traveled outside Canada in the last 3 years, then you're good. If you have traveled to multiple countries, make sure that you write down separately somewhere, and that will be easy for you to calculate because you can miscalculate this. And then they say that the fee is $630 for adults and $100 under 18 for minors. And approximately it takes 18 months to process, but that's not true. It took us 6 months. Now they decreased the timeline, so it should be done in 6 months. Anyway, so click on who can apply, and then you can see all these things, but we want to go to how to apply. And then you can apply online or you can apply on paper. Online's always the easiest. That's what I did over here as well. And then you apply online. And now most applicants can now apply online to become a Canadian citizen. Click on that. And then they will take you to this page where it says apply for Canadian citizen online. So you can apply online if these are the conditions. And you have to create an account. So if you have an account already, you sign in. For this purpose of the video, I created a separate account. The previous one is already processed and I got my Canadian citizenship, so I couldn't show you guys how I did the previous application. So I'm actually going to be doing this application from start. And so I created an account, and this is what it looks like once your account is new. So I created it 5 days back, which is on August 12th. And right now you have to submit all the applications by 60 days. When I did it before last year, it was 90 days, but from this year they made it 60 days. So if you don't submit by 60 days, they're going to cancel your application or delete the whole account, and you have to again make a separate account. So make sure to submit everything by 60 days. Anyway, so this is how your account looks like. And start your citizenship application. So create an application. And over here, they give you options on what to do. So if it's for a minor, then you press this. If someone's less than 18 years, let's say you brought your kids over here. But since I'm an adult and I'm going to be showing you guys an adult application, I will be clicking this. And then family last name. So I'm just gonna, and then first name. And I'm just gonna just giving a random month and day, so just for the purpose of this application. Then create application. And so over here, if you want to invite a co-applicant, that is a family member, let's say your spouse or your kids, you can invite an adult co-applicant, and they will process all of your applications in the same time. So for the purpose of this video, I am not going to be inviting anyone yet. I'm just going to be completing this application on my own. But if you were to submit it as a group, then just invite the co-applicants. So invite your spouses, type in their email address, and they'll get an invitation to accept it. And then all of you have to submit your documents within the 60 days. Anyway, so let's start. And then when you see this, you're gonna see this whole thing. So they're gonna ask you all these information. So from personal info to optional documents, and then you have to provide the details, pay the fee, review, and sign. So they're gonna ask you personal information first. Tell us about yourself. In which language would you like to receive service? English. Do you have special needs during accommodation? No. And then your UCI, so that's in your COPR. There was this number in your COPR which you have to enter. So it's an 8 or 10 digit number. So right now, I'm just gonna put a random number. Family first name, last name, first name. Have you changed your name since becoming a permanent resident? No. Have you ever used any other name? No. Gender, female. Do you need to change your gender designation for your citizenship application? No. And then you have to enter the centimeter based on what was given in the COPR. So I'm just putting down mine. And then again, date of birth, which is they already have it set because I put that in initially. Again, this is not my real birth date. Have you corrected your date of birth on your immigration documents or legally changed it since coming to Canada? No. Do you need to correct your date of birth for your citizenship application? No. So you can change your date of birth after submitting your application. So place of birth, country of birth, married, or whatever your marital status is. Next. So once you've completed something, you will see that the personal info, there's a tick mark in it, which means that everything is completed in personal info. And then they ask you, do you want to appoint a representative to communicate and conduct business with immigration, refugees, and Citizen Canada on your behalf? So that is if you want to include an IRCC consultant. But this is super easy, you guys, and that's the whole point of making this video, is so that you guys don't need to pay anyone extra and you can get it done. And so no, I want IRCC to contact me directly for updates about this application. So next. Now they are in, sorry, contact info. I didn't finish this part. I just jumped to the end. Sorry. So they asked me, how can they contact me about this application? So I give my email address. By the way, this is now my real email address as well. So if you guys are trying to reach me, you're not going to find me through here. So just reach me on YouTube. That's where I reply all the time. So home address is basically where they can contact you right now. And so you put your Canadian address, I'm just putting a random address. Again, this is not my real address. I just put a random one. Is the mailing address the same as the home address? Yes. Is this phone number from Canada, United States, or other? Canada. Type of phone number, cellular. Then this is a random number again. Do you have another alternative phone number? No. Is someone helping you to fill this out? So you can say, no, I'm filling out by myself. And then, do you want to appoint a representative? No, I want to complete this by myself, and I want IRCC to contact me directly. So once you have everything filled out, again, you'll see a tick mark over here where contact info is filled. Next. Now you're in identification. So scroll again to the top. Don't make that mistake like me where you missed out a few. But the good part is if you haven't completed a section, they're gonna show that it's not completed. And only after you complete it is when they'll give the tick mark. So photo and identification, you have to get new pictures done when you're filling out this application. So I got my pictures done from Staples. You can get your pictures done from any Staples, and it's the cheapest comparatively to all the other places right now. They increased their prices to $22. Earlier it was only 15, I believe. So inflation, they increased it by $7 plus tax. So when you get your pictures done in Staples, they're gonna stamp on the back of your photo their address, and so you have to put that in this form over here. So they're gonna tell you to upload your picture. So I don't have any picture on me right now, so I'm gonna leave that blank. And the name of photographer or business, you write Staples. And then they're gonna ask you country, Canada. And then the address, just give any Staples. I'm gonna just put Staples Shaughnessy. I'm just gonna put a random Staples. And then once you have that in, they're gonna ask you when did you take your pictures. Make sure that these are very recent and not more than 6 months old. So I'm just gonna put for May, I'm just gonna put for 13th. And then you have to prove 2 pieces of ID, and they should have your name, date, and birth, and your date of birth, your photo, and the signature. So something you can give is your permanent ID, or you can give your passport page. So now whichever you give, you have to choose whichever ID you're giving, and then again you have to upload it over here and just follow the instructions. You have to make sure they are the right size and format. So they tell you what size you have to upload it in. So it can be in 4 MB and JPEG, GIF, TIF, all these acceptable files. And then you add the file here, and the second ID needs to be issued by the Canadian government or a foreign government. Best is if you upload your driver's license or your health insurance card if you're in Ontario, because Ontario has the face in the health insurance card. Alberta doesn't. So if you're in Alberta, just upload your driver's license, and that's what I did. If you don't have a driver's license, then just upload your residential card from back home, something which has an ID, but best to upload something from the Canadian government. And then once you upload your driver's license, you just do that and press next. The reason this is not ticked because I didn't upload the files, and so you need to upload all the files for it to be checked off and for it to be completed. So just for the purpose of this application right now, I'm going to keep on continuing the application, but make sure that you guys don't miss that out or else the application is incomplete. Now we come to residence and tax. So now you have to list all the addresses inside and outside of Canada during your entire 5-year eligibility period. So if you are applying for your your citizenship in 2023, you have to have your apartments from 2018. So even if you didn't move to Canada in 2018, you still have to put your country from back home's apartment. So we moved in 2019 and we did the application in 2022, but we still had to fill out the application from Bangladesh 2017 and 2018. So you have to start with the oldest first. So since we are in 2023, I'm just going to do a random 2018, and I'm just going to give January 1st, and I stayed there, let's say till 2019, July 27th. And then I say I don't take this off because this is not my current address, and I give the country as Bangladesh. Then I type down the street name, city or town, and then I save the address. So now this is saved from 1st January of 2018 to July of 2019. I was in Bangladesh for almost a year and a half. That's weird. Maybe there is internet problems. Keep going. And now the next part of this was police certificates. In the past 4 years, were you in a country or territory other than Canada for 183 days? The answer is yes. And I was really worried about this because the police certificate that I had was back in 2018 from Bangladesh, and it has been 4 years since we went back. So I just uploaded the one which we submitted when we were doing our PR application, and that is enough because they didn't ask us any additional questions. So just submit the one which you did while you were doing your PR application. So they asked you, will you provide a police certificate? Yes. And then you upload the one which you did for your PR application as well, add the file, and then save country. So you add the file and then you save the country, or else they're not gonna save it. And then if you have other police certificates, they're going to ask you the same question again, and you upload more than one if you've stayed in more than one country for 183 days or longer in the last 4 years. Then they come to income taxes. Do you have a social insurance number? Of course you do. If you ever come here, it's going to be social insurance. Tell us when you filed your income taxes in the last year. 5 years. So you have to file all your taxes to be eligible. So if you haven't filed your tax, which I'm guessing not, most of you are, all of you should be filing it. And if you say no, then you are not eligible. So you have to file at least 3 out of 5 years. Well, all the years that you are in Canada, because if you haven't filed the before ones, when they see your citizenship application, they're going to ask you for an explanation for why you didn't file the previous ones. So make sure you file all your taxes and you're up to date. And then I'm going to give no because this means that I wasn't in Canada in 2018. Were you required to file taxes for this year? And I'm going to say no because I wasn't there. And they might ask you for explanation and you just say why you didn't give that year's tax. And then they're going to say that you authorize CRA, which is the Canada Revenue Agency, and you authorize them for this citizenship requirement, and you have to give a yes for this. Do you currently or have you ever held immigration or citizenship status in a country or territory other than Canada? So that is your place of birth. Yes. Unfortunately, my place of birth never gave me citizenship. If you guys are born in Saudi Arabia, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm a Bangladeshi as well, so I'm going to give from birth that I was a Bangladeshi citizen. I think that was the birth year I entered, but I'm not sure if that was the one. But yeah, enter your birth year, and it is not applicable because you're still that country's citizenship. That country's citizen. So Bangladesh, and I'm a citizen of Bangladesh, same status. So that's what I did, and then it's going to show history of immigration and citizenship status. So that's the most recent. If you have more than one citizenship, make sure you put them all in order. From the lowest goes down and the newest comes on top. Have you ever held travel documents or passports during your 5-year eligibility period? So this means all the places that you had gone to or you had a passport of, and you have to put that in. So I had a passport obviously while coming to Canada. So you have to write the date of when it was issued. And if it is expiring or expired, you have to give the date as well. And then you enter the document number, the country of issue, the place of issue. Do you have the bio page, which is the first page? then you have to upload it as a file and then save the document. Again, you cannot save this document if you don't upload the file, so this will not be a tick mark for me. So make sure that you guys upload all the files where they tell you to upload the files. I'm going to put this as save, and then I'm going to go to next. And now we are in work and school. So work and school is you have to enter all your employment and education history in the past 5 years. So in the past 5 years, whether you were here or in your home country, you have to enter all the places where you worked. And if you were unemployed, you have to write the months you were unemployed from. So you have to start at the top from 2018. Let's say this is August, so you have to start from 2018 August to 2019, let's say July, the month I moved, and then you enter an occupation, you enter an institute, enter the country, enter the street name, the town, save activity. And so they saved this. So lowest again comes first, and then it keeps on going. So it's okay if you're unemployed because they expect you to be unemployed for some time after you've made the move to Canada. So I did put in my CV also that I was unemployed for 2 months here and there when I was unemployed. So you don't have to lie about it. You just have to be honest. And you just give NA. I think, can you give NA? Sorry, just type the address where you are right now or you were in the apartment when you were unemployed. So that's what I did. Save activity. And so then you'll see that this unemployed is before the first one, and you just keep on writing your occupation until this year August. Then save. Next. And this is not completed just because they know that I did not reach the recent. I just gave past 5 years. I barely gave a year. So you have to fill all of it out in order for it to be recent and for it to be ticked off. Now you come to prohibitions. So you have to answer a few questions over here. To be eligible to become a Canadian citizen, you cannot be prohibited under the Citizenship Act. So they're going to ask you, are you now serving a term of imprisonment? No. On probation? No. On parole? No. Are you now serving a sentence outside Canada for an offense? No. Are you now charged with on trial for, subject to, or a party to an appeal relating to an offense under the Citizenship Act or an indictable offense in Canada? No. An offense outside Canada? No. Are you now or have you ever been under a removal order? Have you been asked by Canadian officials to leave Canada? No. Are you now under investigation for charges with on trial, subject to a party to an appeal relating to, or have you ever been convicted of a war crime? No. In the 5 years immediately, were you prohibited from being granted citizenship? No. In the 10 years immediately, was your citizenship ever taken away for reasons of false representation? No. In the 4 years immediately before the date of your citizenship application, have you been convicted? No. Been convicted of an offense outside Canada? No. By the way, if you haven't guessed it already, all of them has to be no for you to qualify. So make sure that you are not under any offense, because if it's a yes, then, that's a different story and there's a lot of explanations to do. So make sure that it is proper. And while a permanent resident, have you been convicted in Canada of terrorism? No. Been convicted outside Canada of terrorism? No. No. By checking this box, I confirm, yes, save, next. That prohibitions was super long. I'm glad that's over. Now language proof. Do you have proof of knowledge of English or French? Yes, you have to have proof, and then you have to give which one are you submitting. So there's a bunch of things. You have to give IELTS general, and you don't have to sit for an IELTS general test if you are a permanent resident, or you came here as a permanent resident and not as a spouse who became a permanent resident. So some of my friends, they were confused, and they originally came as spouses. So they didn't actually go through the whole permanent resident application like us, and they had to sit for the IELTS general test. And then I thought I had to sit for mine as well, but then after a deeper research, I found out it's only for people who came as spouses, because they never set for any IELTS general test since they never came through the express entry, if you understand what I mean. Since we all came through express entry, or the permanent residents who came through express entry, you don't have to sit for the IELTS general again. It's the same test that you did how many years back you came. So we just submitted the one which we did in 2017, and you just upload that file. And once you upload that file, they're going to put that as a tick mark. So next. Now physical presence calculator. So you have to calculate how long that you were here for. So now, during your 5-year eligibility period, did you live outside of Canada as a Crown servant? No. Family member as Crown servant? No. And then you have to put the date that you came here as a Canadian citizen. Make sure that this is accurate. Save. And then, did you become a valid temporary resident status before? So no, I directly came as a permanent resident. So this valid temporary resident status is only for people who were students, and then they converted the student visa into a work permit before applying for PR. So I'm going to say no to that. But if you came here as a student first and then getting a PR, that's a different story. But if you just came here directly as a PR, then this is a no. During your 5-year eligibility period, did you become a valid protected person status before becoming? No. Did you spend time serving a sentence? No. And did you leave Canada for any reason? So it can be anything. It can be for work, business, travel. So if you haven't left the country, you don't have to put a yes over there. So I leave the country, no, and then they calculate my physical presence. So they calculate it automatically, and they tell you that you are eligible because you have to stay 1,095 days, and I stayed for 1482 over here. So they put a tick mark in physical presence, and now comes the consent. So now you're giving IRCC the consent to the member of parliament. That means that they're going to know your name, your home, and your preferred language. And this is for mainly voting purposes. So they will say that these are the only 3 things which are going to be forwarded. So I'm going to say a yes to this. And then I authorize IRCC to give me information on Elections Canada. So this is like, when elections are going to happen, I'm going to know because IRCC is directly going to send the invitation to my house. So yes, if you give a no, nothing happens. It just means that if you say no, then they're gonna ask you to actually know about it when the elections are happening, and they're not gonna forward you anything, which is a hassle because I assume that you all want to vote, and you have the voting rights once you become the Canadian citizen. So just give a yes to that. And this is for Quebec's permanent list of electors. So we don't live in Quebec, but if you are in Quebec, then you have to fill out this part. So I'm just going to give, I don't live in Quebec. And so this is like, look, you can't even click on this because you don't live in Quebec. And then now, this started from January 2023. Before, they would make you just get the physical certificate. And so you would have to wait for the physical certificate to come in mail before you could apply for your Canadian passport, which is exactly what we did. Even though we had our ceremony, our certificate came 2 weeks after the ceremony, and then we applied for the passport. But now you can actually choose the type of certificate you want to receive. So if you receive an email, then this is super easy. It comes, I think, within 2 to 3 business days after your citizenship is held online. So you can apply for your passport even faster. But if you wanted to have the paper for memories and just a physical copy, then you can opt for paper. So whichever, it really doesn't matter. It depends on your personal preference. And so you see that there's a tick mark in consent again. Next. And then they're going to ask you optional supporting documents. Let's say you didn't have your police clearance on you, or you didn't have any specific documents, then you have to write a cover letter or a letter of reasoning and attach it over here and explain them why you didn't have those documents. So since I have nothing else to add, nothing, sorry, cancel, then save. And so this part is filled, and I can go and pay the fee now. But of course, they're not going to accept my fee over here, because if you look at my details, a lot of them are not tick marked because I didn't upload the files over here. So make sure that you have all the tick marks over here for you to even go to the next step, which is pay fee. And then they're going to say you have to pay the application fee online. So you click on this and they're going to take you to this page where they're going to tell you how to apply for your how to apply for your citizenship. And they're going to tell you you must pay when you submit your don't pay here. So before you pay, check your application guide to make sure you're eligible. And then so they're going to check this before you do it. So you have to finish that before they take you to this link online. And then once you're done, they're going to ask you to upload the fee receipt. So when you pay, they're going to email a fee receipt to your email, and then you just upload that here. And then once that's done, you can go to the last page, which is review and sign. And of course, as you can see that these are not ready for me yet, so I can't really sign it now. But once everything is ready, they're going to say, okay, now type in your full name, and you type in your full name, and then you submit the application. If you found my video helpful today, I know it was a bit long, but I hope that this has been super easy for you guys to apply, and you guys know everything by now. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I can definitely help you out. And again, thank you guys so much for the love and support, and it's because of you guys I am continuing to make these videos even 5 years later. And thank you for keeping me motivated and for watching my videos. So if you liked my video today, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you're new. Hope to see you guys in my next video real soon. Till then, bye.